So we are reading from the abode of Lord Krishna is described in Bhagavad Gita 15 chapter 6th verse. Nata bhasya so suryo na shashanka na pavaka. Yad gatvana nivartante tadhama paramam mama. That supreme abode of mine is not illuminated by sun nor moon, nor by fire or electricity. Those who reach it never return to this material world. This verse gives a description of that eternal sky. Of course, we have a material perception of the sky, and we think of it in relationship to the sun, moon, stars, and so on. But in this verse, the Lord states that in the eternal sky there is no need for sun nor moon, nor electricity or fire or any kind, fire of any kind, because the spiritual sky is already illuminated by Brahma Jyoti, the rays emanating from the Supreme Lord. We are trying with difficulty to reach other planets, but it is not difficult to understand that the Lord is illuminated by Brahma Jyoti. And the Lord comes to manifest his real form, Satchidananda Vigraha. When he manifests this form, there is no need for our imagination what he looked like. To discourage such imaginative speculation, he descends and exhibits himself as he is, as Shamasundar. Unfortunately, the less intelligent deride him because he comes as one of us and plays with us as a human being. But because of this, we should not consider the Lord one of us. It is by his omnipotency that he presents himself in his real form before us and displays his pastimes, which are replicas of those pastimes found in his abode. In the effulgent rays of the spiritual sky, there are innumerable planets floating. The Brahmajyoti emanates from the supreme abode, Krishna Loka. The Anandamaya, Chinmaya planets, which are not material, float in these rays. The Lord says, Bhasesya Surya na Shashanka na Pavaka. Yad Gatvana Nivartante tad Dhama Paramam Mama. One who can approach that spiritual sky is not required to descend again to this material sky. In the material sky, even if you approach the highest planet, what to speak of moon, we will find the same condition of life, namely birth, death, old age, and disease. No planet in the material universe is free from these four principles of material existence. मम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदामह्यं ददाति स्म पदान्तिकम् वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखं करोति वाचालं अंगं लंगायते गिरं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरो दीनतारिणम् हरे कृष्ण so it's a very interesting place we came. Srila Prabhupada actually is taking the words from Gita and then explaining that how important is to really understand that there's a spiritual abode. Tad bhasesya surya na sasanka na pava. Yadgatvana nidvartante tad dhama paramam mama. The Lord is clearly telling that is sending a clear invitation to everyone that please do not rot here in this material world. Come to my place. I'll take care of you. Even if we do not understand, still the Lord is taking care of us in this material world. But again, he's giving an open, he's showing an open declaration that come to my abode. So, what do we learn through this? What do we aspire in this world? The advert is when we go to the college. What is the goal of the college? To get a degree and come out, correct? What is the goal of the school? To complete good education, learn nice principles, and then come out. Once college is done, then everything is done. Then after all those things, it's a clear indication that at every step you have certain aspects. I hope you all can hear me okay. Yesterday I had some difficulty hearing. Today you can hear me okay. Everything is can hear the advantage.
Yeah, I can hear.
So as a clear indication that at every place, at every step, we have a goal, an aspiration, and we aspire for that. For example, you go to the office. What is the goal? Is to learn everything nicely, and then after that, work according to that. Work according to what the manager and the higher, and then just submit our reports to them, and then they will review the data, and then that's how you get the salary because you're continuing to do the work. That means if you see at every step, we have a goal. Now, in Krishna consciousness, also we have a goal. The first question one should ask after coming to Krishna consciousness, what is the goal? What is the goal? What is the purpose of Krishna consciousness? Why should we practice? Why should we become a devotee? These are the questions which we need to ask. And what should I do for that? So all these things we need to review and assess, dear devotees. So this is a very clear indication. What is the goal? The goal is to develop a deep relationship with the Lord. But the problem is who has to tell that goal? Now, who should we trust? So many people, they say, they proclaim themselves as spiritual. Everyone is for yesterday. Daramat is asking, where should we hear? How should we understand? How should we take the truth? If the people are engaging in sense gratification, should we hear from them? Or should we hear from the people who are selfless? Anyone can open the book and then speak out something. Do we hear from that perspective? How should we learn? How should we hear? From where we should hear? Yesterday I gave that example, right? There's a glass of milk, but if it is touched by a snake, which is poisonous, the entire glass becomes poisonous. That means if you drink the milk, we will die. Likewise, from where we should hear, how we should take association is very important. Ask what your last desire. To go to a school and then teach. Then they will accommodate him. Person who's about to die, if he tells that I want to go and teach to the children, then granted. Or if the same person says I want to kill another person, will they allow him to do that? They will not allow him to do that. Because a criminal will not give another chance to do more crime. Will he be given that a chance? No, he will not he will not be given a chance. Likewise, if the sadhaka comes to the process and then hears, understands, and then tries to apply the truth more and more, then that is perfect for him. But if the sadhaka doesn't understand, he tries to do some nonsense. Will Krishna allow him to do that? He will not. Because he's our father, now he will not allow. Just like a criminal is not allowed to commit another sin, another sinful activity. Likewise, Lord will not allow. For example, if a person is aspiring for sense gratification, just giving an example, will Krishna allow him to practice Krishna consciousness? No, he will not. Because for him, the Lord will present himself as an external energy of the Lord. Please understand this is very important. Based on the conversation yesterday and today, natad bhashesha shura nashashanka napavaka yad gatvan nivartante tadham paramam. For example, let me take my example. If I am doing sense gratification, if I'm trying to aspire for sense gratification and also speaking very nicely, quoting from here and there, I'll tell you that will not inspire me, neither to anyone who's hearing. Please understand, because Krishna is sitting in my heart, in everyone's heart. And slowly, you will also stop hearing. Why? Because there is no honesty in the heart. Because Krishna doesn't like that. I'll tell an example. This is a very practical example. Gopikas, they're with the Lord. And then they began thinking that, oh, Lord is with me, Aribo, Lord is only with me, nobody else, Aribo. Krishna immediately left from that place. Krishna doesn't like owning himself. He comes by his will. Please understand. Krishna is not that kind of a person where you give $50 and then he'll come and sit right next to us because you gave him $50. No. Lord is not a Devi Devata. Please understand. He's far more superior. Devi Devatas are actually work. I'm not putting anyone down. Please understand again here. We're not here trying to put Devi Devatas down. Trying to tell what is the position of the Lord. येऽपि अन्या देवता भक्ता स्वजन्च यद्यन्विता तेऽपि मामेव कौन्तेय यजन्ति यविदुपूर्वकम्. Krishna is very clearly telling, Are you worship Devi Devatas? You are actually worshipping me only, but in an indirect way. How is that indirect? For example, if I show this is my nose, I'll show directly like this. You can also show like this. Oh, this is my nose. This is an indirect way. This is a long way. So Krishna says, why are you worshipping me? Just worship me directly. You don't have to. You don't have to unnecessarily waste your valuable human form of life. Later on, you will realize that I am the essence of everything. So rather, you realize it now. You come to me now. Natad bhasha sur. I am telling. I have the abode. Goloka. Nobody owns that. Just I am the one who owns that. Nobody else will owe that. So Krishna is telling, please try to understand that. So the same Krishna is giving us a clarity here very nicely based on the example which I took. A criminal will not be allowed to do further crime. Exactly opposite to this, if a person wants to enjoy something else, Krishna will not give him access to practice Krishna consciousness. That means he might practice, he might be there, but he cannot understand what Krishna consciousness is. That's why this knowledge is known as very confidential knowledge, hidden knowledge. Actually, I'll tell something. Today I'm so much slammed up. I was unable to come and sit here. I felt, my dear Lord, I don't deserve a bit, but you're giving me an opportunity to discuss. I felt so happy, so inspired in the heart. Dear Lord, is why am I telling this is this might be a very small thing, but for me it's a lot. Why it's a lot means this is actually a reciprocation. Literally, I was about to put the message, but I got an opportunity to come. Lord, I'll tell you, dear devotees, if we follow the instructions of the spiritual master, Lord will ensure that everything is taken in your life properly. You don't have to worry. The moment I realized that I stopped worrying, I don't worry about anything in my life. If things are not going in the way, I will just wait. Because I know once things will settle down, it will come to right shape. But what I need to do is I need to continue the conviction which is cultivated in the heart. That means it has to be that means the Krishna consciousness has to be taken serious. That thing, irrespective of what happens, if this body is not working, if there is an issue, if there is some other issue, there is a complication in the life, no, that doesn't matter. That's okay, that will continue. But this has to continue. The process of Shravana Kirtana, chanting a Hare Krishna mantra, discussing, doing services, this has to continue. It doesn't matter irrespective of which situation we've been kept in. Because why? Because this is eternal. Baba, dear devotees, this is eternal. This is not like we do in this life and then we forget in next life. No, this is continue. This will continue. Even in the spiritual world, we'll discuss the same thing. We'll discuss the glories of the Lord. We don't discuss anything else. There you will even understand the consciousness of the other devotee. Please understand this. This is very important. Because how is that one gopi or one manjari is knowing the heart of the other manjari? Because the Lord will give access to them. Here in the material world, we don't know. But if the Lord inspires that person, even in this material world also, they know what's happening in the other person's heart. The Lord has to give the access because Lord is sitting in the heart now. We are not sitting in their heart or they are not sitting in our heart. Paramatma is sitting in everyone's heart. He has to give access. He has to open up that file. If he opens up that file, then we know. But if the Lord is opening the file to us, means it is not a normal thing. That person should be very selfless. See, I'll tell a beautiful example. Let's say you have a child. You have to go somewhere. That at that place you cannot take your child. He's just 1 year old. Do you just call any Tom and Tom, Dick and Harry or whoever is going in the street and then give your child to them, telling him to take care of him for a couple of hours? Do you do that? No, we don't do that. Likewise, Lord, he doesn't do that. He doesn't give the access to the other person's heart. Why does he give? He will not give. Because he's a father, na? Just like you are the father or you are the mother for that particular child. You don't give your child to any Tom, Dick, Harry who's going in the street. Without a relationship, do you extend? You don't. Likewise, the Lord will not allow, if a person carries sense gratification in his heart, he will not allow to do a service to the other person. Please understand this, very important. That is why milk touched by the poison, milk touched by the snake is poisonous. That means if a person, for example, if I am doing sense gratification, then whatever I speak, it's poison. Please understand. It's very important. We should understand from where we should hear. Actually, Prabhupada, when he first established this organization, he said, please do not hear from anyone else. Now, some devotees felt, why Prabhupada is restricting? Why is he restricting? And then there some felt that, what? Srila Prabhupada is restricting. I think we should go. We should go and hear from outside also. And people started going and hearing from outside. From Gaudiya Math here and there, from people from Vrindavan, they started going and hearing. And then they got benefited actually, because Prabhupada was not speaking those things, like especially intimate pastimes of the Lord. They felt that, oh wow, this is amazing. But later on they realized Srila Prabhupada is not an ordinary personality. It's an empowered person. He's not an ordinary soul. Then they all felt, what? They've seen so many people, but they're not like Srila Prabhupada. Something special. Initially, they said that, what? We are learning so many things. But later on, they said that, no. Whatever Srila Prabhupada told us is correct. Why? Yet acharate syasya tatta teve taro janaha. That what Srila Prabhupada is doing is, Srila Prabhupada never felt that I am a spiritual master. But he always wanted to be a good disciple. This is a greatness of an acharya. He always wanted to be a good disciple. He never wanted to cheat a spiritual master by not following the words. That's the magnanimity. That's why we are very fortunate. Whoever becomes sincere and serious and takes right association, they will definitely receive the mercy of Srila Prabhupada for sure. They will never leave the moment. You know who are the people who stay in the moment? Stay in the moment means actually doing services. Staying in the moment, doing services selflessly. Who are the persons whoever felt that relationship with the spiritual master in alliance with Srila Prabhupada? They are the people who stay. Trust everyone, they leave. They might stay, but the taking of the process is on a surface level. Because there's no aspiration, na? There's no aspiration of going back home, back to God. And if we really don't know what we are doing over there, do we really aspire for that? We don't aspire for that. We aspire for something else on a material plane. This is a core difference here about this. What we took the example of the criminal, if the criminal wants to commit further crime, then he's not being given an opportunity for doing that. Likewise, Krishna will not give access if we have a desire to do anything else other than Krishna consciousness. Krishna will give time. He knows because he understands our situation. But if the sadhaka, after understanding, also consciously tries to engage in sense gratification, that's the greatest mistake he's committing, because he's not realizing that everything is being watched. There's shavanis everywhere. Can cheat externally and also practice Krishna consciousness. That will never work. For example, there are two boats. You kept one leg on one board and the other leg on the other board. Initially, you're balancing. Let's say there is a tide. Do you still continue to balance on two boats or take one boat shelter? There's a problem. Tide means there's a problem. For example, let's take that as one is material life, other is spiritual life. And then one leg you kept on the material life, other leg on the spiritual life. Still balance. Oh, Baba, that is a perfection, na? When there are problems, that is when you should balance more.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Prabhuji.
Yes, you can
Prabhuji,
move.
sometimes I don't know about others, but I sometimes it's your voice is like sometimes it's coming, sometimes it's off and on. I don't know.
Sometimes it's not coming.
No, it's off and on, but I don't know about others. Is any?
Harisha, is it
Yes.
how it is to everyone?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes,
It
Prabhu,
looks like
same thing for me.
looks like
Yes,
there's a
Hare
little bit
Krishna.
lag, Prabhu, so it's catching up after a break or so, something like that.
like 4 or 5 seconds we don't hear anything, Prabhuji. Afterwards we start hearing again. Yesterday also it happened.
Okay, okay. I will try to change the device tomorrow and then see. Or else I'll go to some other room where the signal is more. Okay, I'll try to figure that out. How about now? You can hear me okay?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So the balancing factor, the material life and the spiritual life. See, initially, when we come to the process of Krishna consciousness, it is good, we kind of balance the material life, there's a spiritual life. Okay, morning, early in the morning, let me do some practice, and then early and late in the evening, let me do some more practice. That's okay, that's good. But going forward, we should understand that in the sadhaka's life, there's no material life. It's all spiritual. So how is that everything will become spiritual? That means at every step you have to remember the Lord. You have to remember the words of the acharyas, and then you have to lead the life according to that. When we do that continuously, what happens? Then the material life, then there is only one boat. For example, there is a tide, you have only one boat. And if you're completely spiritual, either we can take two ways, right? Let's say we are balancing that material and spiritual, right? And after a problem, we will leave spiritual and then we might go to material, right? That is also possible. And the other thing which is possible is we might leave the material and then take spiritual. That means if a problem is actually helping us to make further advancement in Krishna consciousness, that means we need to understand that this is a mercy of the Lord. For some devotees, it happens. I've seen some devotees' lives. They went through difficulties and then they took the path of spiritual life. And then now they're doing it. And then later on, after 5-10 years, they're realizing that, oh, yes, that problem came to me in my life, and that really helped me to take shelter more and more. So this understanding is really beneficial. Then that devotees, when we meet, then they say, hey, you know what? That problem gave me another turn in my life. It's helping me so much. I'm practicing Krishna consciousness nicely. That's a great hope, na? Because he took the right choice. That means the choices, just like Arjuna, Arjuna had two choices, either to fight or to quit. Even after completing Gita, even after hearing Gita fully, Arjuna had two choices, whether he had to fight or not fight. But he took the right choice, which the Lord wants him to do. He fought. Now, when we ask that question to us, that what choices should I select? Which choice should I select? That choices should be as per Guru Sadhu Shastra. Very important. That's why we should have that kind of persons in our life. Very important. When we have that kind of persons in our life, what happens is we know what to do, what not to do, because they are guiding us. They are devoted. I'll tell another important aspect. When a person is guiding us means they're actually responsible for our karmic reactions. Please understand. They're not guiding us just like that. I remember my spiritual master telling, when I say something, I will think about that multiple times, because whatever I say, if you're doing it, and then the karmic reactions are coming out of it, I have to take it because I told it. It's very important, dear devotees, because from that perspective, from that standpoint, they are taking the charge. We are not taking the chance. They are taking the chance. Just like you're sitting in the flight. You're not riding the flight. The driver, the pilot who is riding, he is actually more responsible. For example, if you are sleeping, that's okay. He cannot sleep, or he cannot play some video games. While riding the flight, he cannot do that. You can play the video games. You have the choice. You are sitting actually. But what is he taking? He's taking your responsibility, and then he's giving us an opportunity to you so that you can watch the movies. Now you can say, I paid some money. That's okay, even if you paid money. If the person is not riding flight correctly, then if the plane crashes, who is responsible? Do we say that I paid money? No, because you are not there after that. As simple as that. So, dear devotees, spiritual life is very important. Having those personalities in our life, or having those devotees in our life is very important. Or having that Vaishnava association is very important because they take the charge. They take the charge and then they give us an opportunity to be absorbed in the process more and more to understand it. It's very important. Please understand this. This is so important because the pilot, just like the pilot is taking the control, giving us an opportunities so that we can have the free will, so that we can stay. For example, if a person is in the flight, up until that point, the person taking the flight, he has a choice. Like which flight to take. After boarding the flight, does he have a choice? Can he change the flight? The flight is already in the air. Can he change the flight? He cannot change the flight because at that point of time, the choice is not there. That means only at a certain point of time, dear devotees, in our life, there are choices to accept Krishna consciousness or not. There are certain times in our life where there is no choice for us. That means even if we want to take the process of Krishna consciousness, we cannot because the choices are completed. Because we do not have any other choices left. Just like we're in the flight, we do not have a choice to change the flight. But within the flight, again, we have different choices. We can take different choices. That's what Lord is telling. This human form of life is the most valuable. This is the opportunity for us to take the right choice. Follow the instructions of the acharyas, finish the business in this life, go back to Lord. This action one has to do because this is the only shelter and hope for every Salaka. Because what is this giving? This is actually giving a greatest hope for us in this world. Because if something is eternal, if something has to be done continuously, that thing has to be taken completely with our heart. For example, I'll tell something. If you go to a school, for example, you studied at a school for 10 years. And then even after 30 years, once when you go back to the school, you remember you have some memories at the school. When you go back to those streets, you have some memories. Why those memories are there? Because you are actually happy, joyful during those situations and circumstances, which actually gave you a choice and an opportunity to reciprocate with your friends, right? That's why you remember, because you felt the connection. Your friends might not be there, nobody might be there, but when you go there, you'll remember everything. Because dear devotees, in the spiritual world also, when you go there, you'll remember everything. That's the play actually. The Lord is actually waiting. Your friends are waiting. You have different relationships there. You have connections there. The moment you go there, you'll remember everything again. Because those are all the experiences which you carried in your heart. But the moment we came here, it's all forgotten. Because Lord says, right, Sarvasya Chaham Hridisannivishta Matta Smritirgnanamopohanam cha Vedeshu Sarvam Ahameva Vedyo Vedanta. I give intelligence, knowledge, and forgetfulness. Through me only forgetfulness is coming. Dear devotees, now if you go to the school only, then you remember. For example, you're doing your work in America. Do you remember your school every day? We don't. Do we remember? We don't. Because you're not there. You're somewhere else. You're in US. But your school your school is in India. It's a different location. Likewise, dear devotees, the Goloka is there, dear devotees. But we don't know that. Well, because we have forgotten, because we are in the material realm. That means the consciousness is complete turned. There it is selflessness, it is selfish. Oh, mera kya hai, mera kya hai, mera kya hai. What's in for me? There is love and affection. Here there is lust. Opposite of it. There we have unlimited reciprocations, friendships, give and takes, dadati pratignati. But here, enemy, enmity, greed. Why? It's changed, na? When the consciousness is changed, we forget everything. But when the consciousness is reinstated, you will actually know who you are in the spiritual world also. It's very important. It's not like we are learning something which is quite impractical. No, it's very practical. That's why the Lord tells us come on the soul platform. That's why we should come on this soul platform. How do we come on the soul platform? Selfless. We should become selfless. Because coming on the soul platform is what? Leaving this bodily conception. Because this life means material body means bodily conception only. Material life means bodily conception. You see any person in this world, they are so absorbed in this bodily conception because they don't know what is right, what is wrong, what should be done, what not should be done. How should we lead our life? How should we not lead our life? What should we do? What should we not do? They don't have any of these things. They have no clue, no idea what's happening here. They're not, because they're thinking that this is what I am. But we are not that. That means just understand, entire thing is an illusion. The Lord says in Bhagavatam, it is been said, the moment the soul comes, takes birth, comes out of the mother's womb, the material realm, the illusion of the Maya Devi covers up the consciousness of the Jiva. The same Jiva who's in the mother's womb, it actually prayed to the Lord. Oh, my dear Lord, because he will actually remember all his previous lives. Now, I asked this question first when I met my spiritual master. I said, the Bhagavatam says this. I asked, do you remember those things? He said, no, I don't remember. Honestly, he said, no, I don't remember that. But when Bhagavatam says, I accept it. I said, this is great. This is the exact thing which I was looking for. Honesty, acceptance, submissiveness, surrender. You need to find that kind of persons. Those are devotees, dear devotees. Should be very honest. Even though they have 400, 500 followers, they have so many disciples. Still, to the core of the heart, they're very honest because they know Krishna is sitting in the heart as Paramatma. That they understood. Never ever speak lie in front of him. Not to him, everyone. Never ever speak lies. Should be always honest. Speaking lies is also sense gratification. Because what are we trying to do? We're trying to cheat the other person. Don't we know that Krishna is sitting in the other person's heart? How can I cheat the other person? If I understand, if I really realize that Krishna is sitting in everyone's heart, do I ever cheat the other person? Do I try to mock around the other person? If 2 days, if a devotee is not coming, I'm going to put a message. Where are you? How are you doing? Is everything all right? Your health is good? Why? Relationship. Relationship. I remember my spiritual master doing exactly this. He said, if I miss a class, he would immediately say, where are you? What's happening? Is everything all right? No, that kind of relationship is important, required, na? Then I immediately understand, they're actually watching. They're actually helping me to make progress in Krishna consciousness. This is what I want. This is what I need. They're actually giving the right consciousness of what will be there in the spiritual world. They're actually showing from here. That means the consciousness will be opened up. You will be revealed to your devotees. Where? In the spiritual world. The Lord will give us an access to understand the other person's heart. Wow, so beautiful. Because why the Lord is giving access? Why is He giving more independence over there in the spiritual world? Why is He not giving here? Because here there is diseased condition. We are in the jail. If a person is in the jail, will he be restricted or not restricted? He is restricted. So this material world is like that. It's a jail. We're restricted. But if one cultivates a spiritual consciousness, then one goes back home, back to God, it is not restricted there. That means the consciousness is expanded so much. That's there in the spiritual world. Are Mother Yashoda is actually lamenting profusely. She's actually in tension. What's going to happen to my child? He's going here, he's going there. He might break his bones. He might break. He might cause some disturbance. He might injure. He might be injured. She's always continuously in anxiety. Oh, what's going to happen to my child? That anxiety is real anxiety. And then all the gopikas, they understand the heart of Mother Yashoda because they know their heart. And then they pacify. Don't worry, don't worry. Krishna is all right. I saw him somewhere over there. I saw him behind that tree. He's happy. He's happily playing. Please don't worry. Please don't worry. He'll come back. He'll come back. Hare Krishna. What is this, dear Lord? It means every person over there is actually they're trying to please the Lord and his devotees. And here Mother Yashoda is being pacified by the elderly gopis. Oh, don't worry, Mother Yashoda, don't worry. He came. This Kanaya, he came to our home last night. He's very naughty. So this child, he came to our home. He took the butter. Very naughty, but I felt very happy because he came to my home. After so many days he came. I was very happy. They exchange these things. And Mother Yashoda says, wow, that's nice. You're very lucky. So what is the intimate exchanges? Don't we want to aspire for that? We have to. We want to be because that is eternal for us, dear devotees. This is the only business which we have. Continuous business. This is eternal life. Eternal dham, eternal life, eternal place, eternal body, eternal everything, eternal friends, eternal family. Everything is Sanatana. Everything is eternal. You're also eternal. Your consciousness is also eternal, and then your independence is so much expanded. Just imagine, within this limited understanding only, within this material realm only, this is material realm, na? Material world. Dukhalayam ashashrutam. In this material realm only, when we really hear, when we really practice the process of Krishna consciousness, we feel happy. Don't we feel happy? Don't we feel happy hearing, chanting, discussing? Don't we feel happy? We feel happy. Even here also, here only we are feeling happy. You know what to speak. Just Prabhupada actually gave us very, very little. That is too much for us actually. That little thing and that very little which he gave, through that everything is opened up. That is the beauty of the acharyas. Okay, they give this little thing. But through that little thing, everything is open. It depends on our attitude. If our attitude is right, if we have this mood to serve them continuously, then they will open up our consciousness. Just like in the consciousness in the spiritual world is unlimited, they open up the consciousness here in this world to be unlimited. Because what is happening? Yashadeve parabhakti yatadeva tatavu. The Seth katati artha. Prakashanti Mahatmana. What is that? Yashadeve parabhakti yatadeva tatavu. Means when one worships the Acharya as the spiritual master, as equal as to the Supreme Personality of God. He is a representative of the Lord. He's not Supreme Personality of God, but he's a representative of the Lord. Then what happens? Then the Divya Gyan Hridaya Prakashita, what is there in the heart, that will be dissipated. That means you'll get realization, you'll get reflections, you'll get convictions in the heart. That means that kind of personality, oh, it's amazing. They are opening the heart. They're revealing us the truth. Is this not the Vaikuntha plane? Yes, this is a Vaikuntha plane. Not the Vaikuntha plane, Goloka plane. Because in the Goloka plane, what is happening? The consciousness is elevated. Remember, I said this, right? That when the choices are limited, we don't have much to do. But when the choices are unlimited, we have much to do. That the choices are unlimited only in the spiritual realm, in the spiritual world, in the spiritual sky. There, the choices are unlimited. Here, the choices are limited. Now, who will get that unlimited choice? When a person in this material world is using that limited choices as per the words of Guru Sadhu Shastra, he will get that unlimited choices. Because the choices are same. Initially, the choices are same to every person. Every person in the material world, the choices are same. But whoever are using those choices rightly, not using them for sense gratification, rather than using them for elevating our consciousness, development of process of science of Krishna consciousness, doing Shravana Kirtana, doing services, then his choices are expanded. For example, the devotees, if you see in the jail, if a person is very sincere and is not he committed a crime, that's why he goes to the jail. He committed a crime, but he's sincere. Jailer is watching him. The person is very sincere. You know what they will do? They'll actually release him or reduce the tenure. Let's say he was supposed to be there in the jail for 10 years. He will stay for 9 years, or 9.5 years, or 8.5 years. It depends. What is happening? He has the choice. That means likewise him, there are so many other people around him. There are so many criminals. But they are not using this choice. But the choices are given to everyone. That is the whole point of establishing this material world. Every single person, we have a choice. We have a choice of action. But when the choice of action is used as per the words of the Acharyas, then the small thing which gave, it opens up so much. Prakashanti Mahatmanaha. That means the illusion is dissipated. Divya Jnana Hridaya Prakashito. Prema Bhakti Jahavote Avidya Vinasha Jate. Vedagai Jahara Charito. Prema Bhakti Jahavote Avidya Vinasha. When Prema Bhakti is there, Avidya. Avidya means what? Ignorance is dissipated. Now, how is that Prema Bhakti coming? Through devotion, through relationship. Feeling that yes, this person is very authorized. I should remember, I should hear from him. I should understand the truth more and more. This selflessness should follow. When we understand that, when we take share more and more shelter, then what happens? That the transcendental heart, the transcendental realization which is coming from their heart, which will dissipate into our heart and then change our consciousness. This is called a Cheto. And through this consciousness, when we chant Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Ram, 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 Hare, then the anartha glitches are dissipated. Because what are we doing at every moment? We are selecting the right choices in our heart. The selection of right choices will take us to their Matad Bhashesha Surya Vashasankana Pavaka. Yad gatvana nivartante tadhama paramam. Because we selected that right, we selected that incorrect choice over there in the spiritual world. Then we came here. Now what we need to do, we need to select the right choices again, go back there. That means we made a mistake. We need to correct that mistake now. But if we are continuing those mistakes here, then we'll stay in the jail only. Just like if a person in the criminal in the jail is committing more and more sins, then his tenure will be increased. He will never go out. Then the jailer will put he'll increase the tenure of him. Because they have that clause also. If the person is irresponsible, is not listening, is not doing, is not improving, then his jail, his confinement will be more restricted, more and more restricted. That means the choices of selection will be reduced. That means if a person after coming to Krishna consciousness is committing sense gratification, then his choices are reduced. As simple as that, na? Just like a jailer is reducing the choices, if a person so-called on the name of so-called spirituality, if he's breaking the regulative principles or is not following the rules, regulations nicely, he's envious towards the other persons, then his chances of selection will be reduced. Eventually, they will leave the movement off. I've seen so many devotees, so many people, I don't say them devotees, so many aspirants who came to the moment they leave. Why? They don't get happiness. Why? Because they don't follow. Why? Because they don't have that kind of association. That's why I pray to Lord Narasimha again and again. Why? Because they give beautiful association. I tell again here that I'm so happy practicing Krishna consciousness. Very happy. I have no complaints in the process. If at all there are any mistakes that is coming through me only, this is not the problem of the process. Process is perfect. Process is completely perfect. You cannot put a mark in the process. If that we are not getting relations, means that we are not feeling the relationship here. When you feel the relationship with the acharya, with the spiritual master, with the teacher, you have unlimited relations. Because what is happening? Divya Gyan Hridaya Prakashita. That Divya Gyan Hridaya Prakashita has to manifest in our consciousness. Then you will select right choices always. Please remember that example. A criminal, his last choice at the death sentence, wants to commit another crime. Will the jailer allow him? No, will not allow him. Likewise, if a person comes to the process and wants to continue sense gratification, will Krishna allow him to give access to the words of the acharyas? No, will not give. Because why Krishna will not give access to that? Why Krishna will keep him in the external energy? The reason is because he is duplicious. Krishna will not give him access to that. Because on one side is practicing, on the other side is doing sense gratification. That's a problem. That's why Lord will not give access. Just like a criminal is not given access to commit crime. Because committing crime is what? Is a sinful, heinous act, right? Because the Lord will also not allow the person to actually realize what Krishna consciousness is. That means at that moment, Lord's external energy begins working. I remember when spiritual master telling very importantly about this. It's a great principle you are devoted. What is that is? Even after 10 years of practice, our previous desires will come. Not 5 years or 2 years or 3 years. After 10 years also, after 15 years also. If previous habits are coming into our heart, and if our mind is loose, and then we begin doing it, then the access to Krishna consciousness is cut there itself. That means he will not get realizations. His heart will not respond. That means he will not receive the it will stop. Please remember this example, because a criminal, he wants to commit a criminal activity. What is sense gratification? That means you want to stay in the bodily consciousness, on the bodily platform. If you want to stay in the bodily platform, why Krishna will allow us to enter into the internal energy of the Lord? As simple as that. Now, internal energy means what? Internal energy means the energy where Lord wants to give himself. He wants to become your child. He wants to become your beloved. He wants to become your friend. That is not internal energy. That access is cut. Why? Because we ask for something else. So Krishna is very sensitive here. I wanted to tell this and then I'll conclude. Krishna is very, very sensitive here to this. Please understand. His heart is very soft, gentle, like a child. It's very, very sensitive. He doesn't understand. But even to gopis, he left that place. So what to speak of us? That's why this process is a continuous process. Here the word is next life also we should hear this. You understand? It's important. Why? Because until and unless we realize that we are convinced to that state, we will be hearing. And then even after conviction also we will hear. How? To relish in the heart. How to serve. Because I see devotees coming again to the material world. Why? Because they want to serve the spiritual master again. They can go back to world, but there are some devotees who come. So want to serve. This is important. So right choices will only be selected. We only select right choices if we remember them continuously. That is called as Divya Gyan Hridaya Prakashita. Because when the Divya Gyan, when the transcendental knowledge dissipates from the heart, then what happens? Then we can see what is apple, what is orange. If we have to take only apples, we will just take apples because now the vision is there now. Earlier vision was covered. We don't know whether it is apple or an orange. But by the mercy of the spiritual master, we are understanding that. Now, the moment we understand that, what do? We give it back to them. This is a reciprocation. This is like a farmer who cultivates a plant. What is the plant doing in return? Gives the fruit. Happy na? This is how we take it. Hare Krishna. I'll stop here. So we should be that kind of a tree who wants to give that fruit to our master. And then the master will take the fruit and will give it to others. Or he can do whatever he wants because he is the proprietor for that. We are just that fruit sampling. Hare Krishna. Well, we belong to them. This attitude, Krishna is very pleased with this. Hare Krishna. Thank you. We'll stop here. Anyone would like to add anything? Or there anyone will conclude here? Hare
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All those to Srila
Krishna.
Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu,
Hare Krishna.
thank you so very
Hare
much,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Thank you so very much for the message today, Nectar message. Same message didn't we hear in the past? We did, but as you always say, the message goes into the heart only if we hear through a relationship. That's when the realizations come as well. The core message that we are soul and we are connected to the Supreme Lord through a relationship, and that's what we are trying to establish here in this material world also, only through the relationship. Yeah, thank you so very much, Prabhu. unless until we I think in that platform that I'm a soul and connected to the super soul, I wouldn't see. I was thinking yesterday, last night. I used to think when there is a plant or something like that. Oh, oh, we hear from the lectures, right, that Krishna is everywhere in every plant, animal also. So I used to think, okay, that so Krishna is here. So Krishna gave this plant for. He's here, and he gave that plant for me to view, to be happy, and so in my pleasure, I used to think, yes, Krishna is there, but for my pleasure, the plant is there. Now I'm realizing that I used to think looking at the plant, knowing Krishna is there, but the plant is there for me. That's my realization, but that's not the case, right? He is everywhere, so we should protect it. Um, we should make use of it for his pleasure, give it back to him. And he's everywhere. He's in all the living beings, not just the plants, family members. If everything is related to him, then how gentle and how care we should treat them and use for Krishna's pleasure. Um, Even you always say, we hear there are always levels or always levels. The more we go, that's why it's eternal, right? The levels, the more deeper we go, the more deeper the relationship is, the more deeper we get the realizations, and it's eternal, and that is possible only by hearing every day, attentively, submissively hearing every day, through a relationship. Yeah, these are my thoughts which are coming. Prabhu just wanted to share. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Actually, the hearing becomes so profound when we actually try to put those things into action more and more. We try to reflect them. We try to perceive the truth on a deeper level, and selecting those right choices. Continuously, when the sadhaka is selecting those right choices, his vision is totally different. He's here, but he will not be here. Because whatever he's doing, whatever he receives, everything belongs to the acharyas, belongs to the Lord. So his mood is that mood, because he's capturing, see, what are we trying to capture? We're trying to capture the mood. Trying to capture the mood of the acharyas. We're trying to slowly, we're trying to come do the anusmarana. When we do that, whatever, irrespective of whichever situation you've been kept, we will always remember them. That's how we make progress. That's how we make right choices. That's how we begin working for them. Because we feel they are everything for us. And then that's how we actually come to this anarthas. Because they're deeply rooted in our heart. So I always think about this. If 2 days we don't discuss or we don't hear, we don't understand, we don't think anything about Krishna consciousness for 2 days, then the third day will be a different day for us. Because we will be kept in a different state. Because dear devotees, the sadhaka cannot be idle. He can do either Krishna conscious, he can be Krishna conscious, or engage in material conscious. There is no third thing here. If he's serving, he'll serve. Otherwise, he'll gratify. There's only two things. That means if something that is done continuously, that means you should think how deep this has to be taken to our heart. How deep the principles of surrender and submission they should manifest in our consciousness. That means nobody is there, but still I want to please the Acharya, please my spiritual master at that moment. Nobody is there. I am the only person. No one is there. Spiritual master is also not there. No one is there. But at that moment also I have to praise them. Especially later. When a person comes to that state, then he will not commit any mistakes. Because I'll tell something. One time, the spiritual master was asking all the disciples. Spiritual master gave a mango to every disciple. Then he said, you go and eat this mango. Where is your halwa? Then every person goes to different places, and then they eat that mango, and then comes back next day. And then all the disciples would eat the mango, but one disciple was not eating. The spiritual master immediately asked that disciple, why didn't you eat? And he said, my dear Lord, my dear spiritual master, wherever I go, I remember your truth. Wherever I go, I see the presence of the Lord. I didn't find a place where I'm alone. Immediately he said, you understood the truth very nicely. As a child, understood the truth very nicely. That means he said, the spiritual master said, this he did not tell what we understand, right? This person will not commit any mistakes in his life. Because he's seeing the presence of the Lord at every moment. Because he's remembering his teacher. Because he's grateful what he has been given. When I think about these things, what we have been given is something extraordinary. Otherwise, dear devotees, who will come out of these things is difficult. Please understand, it's not an easy thing. It's only by mercy. If at all we are coming out of those things, it's a mercy. If at all we are not coming out of it, that means there's a problem. We need to figure that out. But if you are coming out of this, it's really mercy. It's not our endeavor. I always feel it's not my endeavor. It's a mercy, it's a flow of mercy coming from the acharyas. That's how we understand. And we feel indebted to them. That's how we will never leave their association. It's transcendental. It's transcendental. Then that's how we make progress. And progress is very practical also. Because what are we doing? Our choices, we have choice selection is one. Perfect. Whatever we like, we do that. Whatever they like, we do that. We do not have any independent choices. Because the jiva is always dependent. And this we have to realize more and more. Because this is not something like in 2 days it will be done. No. This is a continuous science. We have to take this. It's a step-by-step process. The anarthas have to be dissipated. We have to come to the stage of nishta. So many things are there. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Stop here. I'm sure so. Please take on the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the class, telling us how to get out of this material conception of life. So important to hear every day.